Hi, I'm Will, and it's time for a war story here on the Geezer Guide to Better Living. As I said in the first video, I had been to conflicts before, so I thought this was not going to be any different from any of the other conflicts that I had ever been in. My job was a NBC officer slash communications, which I didn't really do a lot of communication at that time, but I still was part of the signal battalion, and I trained still. And when I went to uh, Desert Storm, part of my job had become I was part driver for the first sergeant and sometimes the company commander, and I would drive them wherever they needed to be driven to. So I got to not sit in one place during that time. I got to travel all around the area, and we were where we were located, into the war zone, out of the war zone, wherever we were located. I went because I also became the mailman, and sometimes we would bring food, and also we kept continually doing training because you want to do training. You want to check out, make sure that they set up their parameters for detecting any kind of biological or nuclear hazard. You want to make sure that they had all of the equipment to maintain their gas mask and make sure that gas mask was functional and the decontamination equipment was there also. So during the daytime, me and the first sergeant sometimes would drive 8 to 12 hours a day, driving in between these checkout points where we were located in the desert. So people were happy to see me because they knew they were going to get mail or food or something like that. But they also wanted because they knew they were going to get some more NBC training. I couldn't gas them out in the desert, which a lot of people were happy about. But I still bored them to death with the NBC training, and um, they really were like had mixed emotions about seeing me, especially sometimes these rat rigs, some people will only be out there in the middle of the desert. It would only be like a group of three or something like that. And so when they saw a new face and I was bringing mail or food or whatever, they were happy to see me. But at the same time, they were like, "Here come this nigga. He finna start his NBC crap again." So it was a mixed emotion about seeing me. So when shit got real, one day we were in doing downtime that we were at the main post where we were stationed, and I was going to the motor pool to get the vehicle that me and the first sergeant was driving service. They had sirens go off before, but we always knew they were coming, and we knew they were going to be a test. So I was a little bit overconfident and a little naive because I thought that this was going to be just another. We're going to go there, and it's going to be a couple of months, and then we're going to go home. So when shit got real for me is when I was taking the car to the motor pool to be serviced, and the siren went off, and it wasn't a scheduled siren. It wasn't, because even when they were unscheduled sirens, we kind of knew what was going to happen. So me being the person that trained people, I knew what to do. I stopped the vehicle that I was in. The vehicle was protection, so I didn't have to find anywhere to hide or anywhere to cover. So I stopped and I donned my NBC equipment in the car. So while I'm sitting in the car, the vehicle, with my NBC equipment on, I look across a field, the desert, and I see a soldier flailing on the ground like crazy, like they were having convulsions and they were having some kind of, they were being gassed, and that's what I thought what was happening. And I don't know what happened. Adrenaline kicked in, and I jumped out of the vehicle and I ran across this, at least I say 50 yards. I did a 50-yard dash, and the fastest 50-yard dash I ever did in my whole life. And I grabbed the soldier and found out it was one of my soldiers, and her name was Hardy. I'm always going to remember her because she was one of those people who kind of half-ass paid attention in class. when I was giving, and she always cried about everything. She was a good soldier, but you had to make her be a good soldier. So I grabbed her. She was foaming at the mouth. She was tears were coming out her eyes, and I started trying to pull out of her NBC equipment. Good thing other people saw it happening too, and they ran over and they held her down, and I put on her NBC equipment, on her mask, and stuff like that. And so we all were like bugging because we thought Hardy had got gas. So we all standing around praying. Even the white people that was atheists that were praying because we were all scared as hell. And we sat there, and and Hardy calmed down, and but she still was crying, and I was like totally bummed. I'm talking about shit really got real for me that at that time. And so about 10, 15 minutes later, the NBC alarm went off, so everything was okay. And I was like, wow, I couldn't uh, believe I was in shock. I don't think I talked for the rest of the day because I was just that blown away. And I, the people that were from that was it. Part of the motor pool took Hardy wherever they took her, and she had a panic attack, and that's what had happened. We thought she was getting gas, but she had a panic attack, and I went and dropped off the vehicle to the motor pool, and I went back to my tent, and my brain just couldn't. I shut down when things like this, things I can't comprehend, or things that I see happening, I break down. And I went to my tent, and I think I stayed in my tent for until the first sergeant came and told me that it was time for us to, hit the road and go again. Uh, Quiet, barely do. I don't even remember doing anything. I just remember just sitting in the tent. I might have went to sleep or something like that, maybe, but I was really, really fucked in the brain by that, what had happened. It was so surreal that I sometimes think about that sometimes. And like I said, this is something that happened that you can never forget because this was like something out of a movie. And it really, really uh, brought home to me that I was not playing, this was real life or death. And I think at that moment too, I said to myself, I'm going home. I am not going to be one of these people who either uh, get shot or killed or gassed or anything like that. I had it reinforced my will to live, and I was like, I'm going to make it home. Anyway, that is part two, and maybe I'll give you some more stories in the future as I can remember them and ones that I can tell you. Anyway, like my videos, subscribe, and I always thank you for watching.